Hi, everyone. This is the Runner Group. We're going to talk about our 16.1 milestone plan today. I'm here with Darren and Gabriel. So we're going to start off the conversation with talking about Runner Fleet, and I will share my screen and show you what's on our plan for this milestone. So we have a lot of features that have to still connecting with the new token architecture that we've rolled out in 16.0. So we have the new registration process now, so you can create a new runner using the new token architecture, but we also have some follow-ups coming out of that. Some are just small updates, and one of those include when you're creating a runner to make the tags and run untagged jobs fields required, because those are really the only two pieces of the runner creation flow that are required. So we'll be improving that so that you get less errors while you try to create a runner. And then another big thing that we're working on that's also related to the token architecture is the new runner details page to support groups of runners. So you know, or you may not know that with the new token architecture, you can create many runners with the same configuration. And when you do that, those will use the same authentication token to be registered. And those will technically, right now, we're not showing all of those that are registered with that same token in the UI. So right now you're only seeing the most recent one that was created with that config. But with this design, now you'll be able to see all of the runners that are using that same config when you click into the runner details. So now you have more visibility into that. We've already heard some feedback about this being confusing, so hopefully this helps that problem. And then on the UX side of things, we finished up our solution validation for the Runner Fleet dashboard MVC, and it turned out to be very positive overall, and we were able to make some updates to the dashboard design that we are now just taking in feedback to make sure that this iteration is for sure what we need for the first MVC. But if you have more feedback, we'd still be open to hear it. You can leave your feedback in the new Runner Fleet dashboard issue, which is linked in our iteration plan. And just so that you have a summary of where we're at right now, we did find out that the three most important features are your fleet health. So if you have any system failures, which ones are online and offline, the busiest runners that you have. We would start with just showing you the top 5 and give you a sense of the job load by the jobs in progress over however many jobs they can run in parallel. And then finally, the wait time to pick up a job. We know that this needs to be more configurable in the future, but right now we'll just start with giving you that wait time for all of your instance runners, all of your group runners, or all of your project runners. So that is that for Runner Fleet, and I'll pass it to Gabriel.
Thank you so much. The future is so exciting for Runner Fleet. I'm really stoked to be part of this too. Let me share my screen as well and give you an insight on what's happening on the Runner SaaS side. As you might have seen, 16.0 was a super exciting release. We have finally released our Apple Silicon Mac One runners for you guys to use in beta. We have also released GPU runners and then have upsized our current SaaS offering on Linux. So a lot happened, and now to follow up, our priority one is to support everybody in the migration of macOS and iron out any issues that we may find. If you're already part of the macOS program, you should have received a message looking like this that contains all of the information you need to transition. One thing I want to note, because it's also important for the next release, there's 2 things in specific on this macOS topic that we want to tackle in the upcoming release. First one is support your migrating. So if you find any problems using the Mac runners, there is an issue that is linked here in this message where you can just report any issues that you have. So that's super valuable for us to get insight as fast as possible and iron these out. And then another thing I wanted to mention is we are planning to work on a image updating strategy. So you can use a latest image, for example, but also we are updating our stable image more regularly. What's the benefit of this in the end? Your jobs hopefully will run a bit quicker because you don't have to pre-install that many components. And adding on top of that, we also are researching currently what baked-in tools we should deliver with our macOS runner. So please be sure to give any needs you have in this issue. Write down what you guys want, and then we will evaluate if that's possible to do or not. But yeah, that's super exciting. And then on another note, as a stretch goal, we are continuing the path of our upsizing of the Linux offering to, again, achieve best-in-class CI build speed. And on that, what we want to do is offer larger machine sizes, we have recently upgraded our large one from 4 to 8 vCPUs. And adding on that, we want to implement a 2x large with 16 and then an X large with 16 and a 2x large with 32 vCPUs. So that's super exciting for everybody that runs super heavy loads. And yeah, that's about it from Runner SaaS team. Handing over to you, Darren.
Hey, thanks, Gabriel. I'm not sure how I can follow that from both Gina and Gabriel, but I will try. And maybe talk about something in Runner Core that might be as super exciting as what we just saw. So on the screen right now, folks, what I'm just sharing, just to reiterate, Runner Core is the engine. It's sort of the thing under the hood of your super fancy sports car that's GitLab CI/CD. And so in terms of, this is what I'm looking at, what you're seeing on the page right now is the direction page for Runner Core. So if you ever want that top level view, that 20,000 foot view of kind of what we're thinking for Runner Core, here's the page to start. And this is the key thing to call out under the strategy and theme section is that we're always thinking about how we can make it as efficient and as easy as possible for you to run your CI/CD workloads anywhere. At the end of the day, if you're on GitLab SaaS, as Gabriel was pointing out, Gabriel is working on offering you a solution where you come to GitLab SaaS and you don't have to worry about the compute for running your CI/CD workload. Is our vision, right? You come to GitLab SaaS and you can just get your job done. But we understand a number of customers, they have other sort of different needs. They're self-managing GitLab, they're doing other things, they have more complex sort of computing needs. And so they have to think about running their CI/CD workloads on compute. And so we're always thinking about how we can make that experience as easy as possible, how we can simplify getting your GitLab CI/CD workload onto the thing, onto that substance that will actually run your workload. And so that's at the heart of our thinking. And when you look here at our strategy page for GitLab Runner Core for the 1-year plan and tying our strategy here back to our GitLab product strategy under the world-class DevSecOps experience, so you can get that out, we have these 3 main buckets, right? The next Runner token architecture, which Gina touched on in the beginning of her presentation. We're mostly done with that piece of work from a core perspective. And the next phase of work is, as Gina was mentioning, sort of iterative features to clean up things in the UI pieces. So the Runner core pieces for this is mostly done. We have a few tweaks to do for our GitLab Runner Helm chart. So we're not spending a whole lot of time there. The next big theme under the world-class DevSecOps experience sort of umbrella bucket, it's next Runner auto scaling. And this is, again, for customers that have to manage their own runner fleets on various public cloud infrastructures, but even on-premise cloud, public cloud infrastructures, maybe like VMware, different OpenStack clouds or what have you. Can you easily auto-scale runners on that infrastructure? And what we've been doing this year is working very, very hard to release the next Runner auto-scaling architecture. And so going over to our 16-watt iteration plan, can you zoom in when you're here? In terms of new features, I'm just going to highlight 2. The first one is the fleeting plugin for AWS EC2. So we released the fleeting plugin for AWS EC2 experimental in a previous release. And my hope is to transition this plugin to beta in 16.1. So for customers that are looking for an auto-scaling solution, the new auto-scaling solution for Amazon EC2 instances, whether it's Mac instances, whether it's Linux instances, what have you, I would like for you to be able to adopt the beta starting at 16.1, kick the tires and give us more feedback. So as soon as we can get to beta, the quicker we can get feedback from you from the customer base at scale and determine what key things we need to do to add to the feature set to transition to GA. And then right below that, you'd see that we've got the fleeting plugin, and the plugin is the thing that sort of makes a new auto-scaling abstraction work on public clouds, right? And so we want to get to an experimental plugin for Azure. So the AWS plugin is already available as an experiment. The GCP plugin experiment is shipping in GitLab 16.0, so the release that's coming out right now on the 22nd of May. And then the goal for 16.1 is to release the plugin for Azure. So our initial plans when we got into this journey was to say, hey, we will develop the plugins for the top 3 clouds, but then the plugin architectural framework is hopefully simple enough. And we've had some videos that was created by one of our engineers, Joe Burnett, yesterday, that shows you how easy it is to add plugins for other cloud frameworks. So that's the top features that we'll focus on in core. There's the other kind of quick things I want to call out as well in terms of where we spend a lot of our time. We've got a number of bugs. Again, we want to continue working through our backlog of bugs in Runner Core that are critical to making sure that you can run GitLab CI efficiently on your environments. And then obviously we spend some time, quite a bit of our capacity each iteration, resolving any new security issues. And then finally, one quick call out in this iteration as well, we've got a lot of work in our maintenance bucket. So in addition to the features we want to get out, and in addition to the bugs, the functional bugs, and of course the security issues which gets worked on first, there's a number of maintenance issues that we need to get through that are essential not only to sort of our workflows, but critical pieces of work that's essential to ensure our customers can run GitLab Runner. For example, we've got to do some testing of the runner with the latest versions of Podman from Red Hat, which is basically a different container runtime that replaces Docker. And we have support for Podman today, but we need to ensure that, for example, with Podman 4.5, which is the latest version, that the runner continues to work with Podman. So there's a lot of these other things as well. So again, not as exciting as Core and Fleet. I'm sorry, as Fleet and SaaS, but that's what's coming in Runner Core. Back to you, Gina.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, we're really excited for 16.1. And if you have any feedback, please feel free to reach out per usual. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.